Hi Super Blonde, you made it. Gonna get started in a minute. Hi Richard. Pizza. Don't think at this time. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna start writing some new ideas as the plan. So better make a start. Right, let's see how far we get. Let me get the timer on. I'm gonna go for half an hour. So usually when I do this kind of thing, half an hour sprint's pretty good. And if it doesn't go very well, I'll just stop after half an hour and then move on to the next idea. Hi Commando. Yeah, so basically I always do my music session at 5 in the morning. That's when I like to get up. Just obviously the idea behind this is what was happening before, because I mean I've done this for years and years now, is when I didn't do music sessions in the morning, I used to get up, go to work, end up doing lots of things for other people, and not doing anything on my own agenda with regards to making music. And by the time I got in at the end of the day at 5 or whatever, you're tired, you'd have something to eat, you would chill, and you know, a lot of the times I just wouldn't even make it to the studio, or basically my attention span would be so low that I wouldn't really get anything done really. So all I've done is transplanted the end of the day, and I've stuck it to the beginning of the day. And as soon as I did that, the whole mindset around music completely changed really. Okay. Right. Do I start with a standard template? Very basic template. So that's a really good question, because I don't like what it is with templates is I don't like too much on a template that's going to dictate to me what style I'm doing. So really this template's just about having things that are quite repetitive there for me. So all I've got, when you look here, is this is the typical channel strip, and it's the same for audio and MIDI. I've just got a utility plug-in. I've got Pro Q3, and then I follow that up with every channel with Slate, which has got a couple of things loaded in. Every channel has the VCC channel, virtual channel console, I should say, for a bit of saturation, and they're all controlled by the master. And then I have a compressor, so this is just for side chaining, and there's a side chain trigger, which I need to put that in up here, and I have a separate MIDI note that actually triggers the side chain. What else have I got? Oh, and then every channel's got this filter, so there's a high pass and a low pass filter, but it's not really a filter for mixing, it's a filter, although you could use it for mixing if you want. It's just a filter for effect really, so I can bring things in and out with filters. What else is there? And that's it. Not really got anything on the return channels at the moment, so that's it. Pretty simple. For today, just to get started, I've put David because there's loads of sounds on it and I can quickly get stuff to go together. I've got Arcades, the other instrument. I've got Cthulhu, which is really good for putting chords and stuff on. So it's really good for writing chord voicings, Cthulhu. So I tend to use that sometimes when I'm doing big chords and I've got to get the inversions of the chords right so they flow nicely. This is a really good way to do it because I'm not the most amazing chord playing keyboard person. I think that's pretty much everything there. Right. Okay. So really, The idea is doing this kind of thing is the way I tend to think is I like to think along the lines of discovery rather than design. So really, this morning I haven't got any ideas whatsoever. So I'm gonna have to find something that's gonna actually trigger me off. And a good way to do that is actually arcade. I really like arcade for this kind of stuff, and you can find, you know, things on here that'll start getting the creativity going. So it's a bit like a sample library really, and you know, it does loops, and you can create them into one shots. You can even make things into, you can even play the stuff like instruments as well. So like all of this sort of stuff's really highly customizable. But you know, if you haven't got any ideas straight away what you want to do, and what I'll do is, so I'll go into like a sample bank like this, and I'll literally just it's called escape your mind, right? Let's have a look at that. Randomly go on something. So those are a little bit too kind of musical with notes and things. I don't necessarily want that. I just need some sort of background thing. Where is it? Might have something there. Okay, thing open here. So a little feature on Ableton Live, I'll show you, which is very good, is you can fix it to a scale, which is really quick. So we're in F sharp, and then it just shows you all the notes you can use. Minor. So that's good. Yes, very good. Got all the notes there. Right, bottom track, is that just noise? Yeah, it's actually the noise of the mic. Could actually use that. So I would go looking for some noise now, but I just want to get a few more of the musical parts in. A lot of doing production like this, when one of the things you've got to practice is getting your decision orders right. So one of the things I had to practice is like, what instruments do I need to hear? What's the least amount of instruments I need to hear to be able to like judge what a track's going to be like? So really I can't. That's why I quickly banged some rhythm in and then got onto the melodic stuff, because I just want to see what the catchiness is like and what the vibe's going to be. But it takes a little bit of practice. No, but I could actually just record the room and add it in, couldn't I, Richard? That would be... but I suppose there's a pad thing in the background, that'll do for a bit of atmosphere for now. It'll do, you know, it's sort of like dark garage kind of vibe. Actually not enough sharp minor, I think we're in B minor. What key are we in? Let's find out. Pick the guitar up, it's always easier. B minor. Do you use an arpeggiator or just program the notes so you can control the variance and order? I do both actually. So this one, but more often than not I'm doing it this way. Control of it. Song structure. Yeah, I'm not actually using that song structure, so that's kind of there if I want to splurge it into that. So one thing you'll see with these morning sessions is sometimes I start playing kind of games, and one of them is the structure splurge. So I'll just start splurging into the different sections, and that gets the track done really quick. Okay. What else have we got? Drums. I'm going to try and do both. I'm going to try and do both. Try and be creative and chatting at the same time. So there's another thing. You say that this little fast hi-hat. I haven't gone in. I mean, initially what I'll do with that is I'll put some sort of panning thing on it so it moves left and right. It's not like static, but it's just not something I'm going to do now because I need to just focus on getting the notes done, and I don't want to start wasting any time on that. Because I just don't need to make a judge. I'm not going to judge this track on whether the hi-hat's moving backwards and forwards, am I really? So. Okay. Some drums. That's the timer. Okay, so things are going well, so I'm going to keep going on this. Now, sometimes when I'm performing and making a judgment on a melody, I like to then try, if I can, draw the melody in. So I find it a really good way to be subjective and objective at the same time. Yes, I'm on the song structure now. So I'm just quickly getting stuff in. Hi, Harlan. So another tip is, oh hi Commando. So another tip here is, you only get like so long working on the track till you get absolutely sick of it, and a good way of avoiding that is just to keep stopping the music. Don't like listen to anything unnecessarily unless you've got an action to do and you're tweaking something. So for example, Aneely was about to go surfing for soft instruments there whilst having the track running in the background, which isn't a good idea. So there is a time limit with this, and that's been one of the things that massively helped me out, to be honest. It's just stopping the music. It's like things like, you know, working on your track and then leaving it looping in the background whilst you dance around the room or go off and make a cup of coffee and listen to it in the next room. You wouldn't want to be doing any of that kind of stuff, because also you're what's happening is you're forming an attachment with the song as well. You know, you're starting to like sort of really enjoy the music, and then what happens is you think there's all of these, you start projecting into the future about all the possibilities that the track's going to do for you, and the problem with that is it's not finished, and then you start comparing it to like other tracks that are finished, and then you realise that yours, because it isn't finished, isn't as good, and then you can have a negative response to it. So this is why I stop all the time. Okay. There is something in particular I want to try out actually here. Where is it? OBX. That's what I want. OBX. Play it backwards. Well, if you play it backwards, you might get two tracks out of the same track, so that's a good one, Horn. Right. Where was it? Yes, if you know it's going to be a number one hit, I don't think we ever know if it's going to be a #1 hit or not as an artist. I've said this a number of times, sort of in the streams that I've done before, is artists, especially in the moment, are probably terrible judges of their music. And quite frankly, I've released stuff that I've absolutely hated and everybody else has absolutely loved. And I remember actually when I used to have publishing, this publisher that I had, they were really good for getting your vocalists, like top liners, to work with. And what I'd do is I'd write like a bunch of like dance stuff and I'd send them it. And all of the tracks that I absolutely detested were always all the ones that the vocalists picked and then ended up coming back to me, and then I was forced to work on them, and then you know what, they actually came out quite good. So other people see things in your music that you don't, you know. So this is this thing I always say of like, you know, when you're getting, as long as you know how to end a song and when it ends, just put it out, just release it. The other thing I do, because of this artist judgment thing, is the automatic music making machine, because you've got to remember there's all these sections which map creativity, the actual flow of creativity. So there's like what I keep forgetting, there's like there's 4 or 5 areas in this machine, and each one is like quality control. Do you typically use the same types of sounds or even sounds of your tracks to keep consistency between them? Is there something you do from the get-go after you go back and listen? Well, that's a good question. Yeah, the one thing that I do that is obviously from other tracks is over here I have all of the McLaughlin and Hutch projects. So here, nearly all of them. And if I want to get a sound out for consistency, so for example, let's have a think, what do I want? What sound do I want? Let's say waiting for the right time. Because that was an alright tune, waiting for the right time. And then I'll just grab a few things out. It's a very loose template, Harlan. When I first started releasing music, I had a template that literally almost like mixed what I was doing. The only problem with that is like all my music was starting to sound the same, and then because I couldn't use the template, I thought the template was my style, so it was a really difficult thing to undo. So I know like on, in fact, I'm probably going to have to mention this, I'll probably talk more in depth on this on Sunday, to be honest, because it can cause a lot of issues, and this is one thing I see on YouTube a lot, is people pushing these really elaborate templates, which probably makes loads of sense to them, but not much else, and it becomes very difficult and awkward to work on, because a template's really, what it's about is, it's just trying to keep your creativity as flexible as possible, so you can push out any idea you want. You know, what if I wanted to do jazz fusion, but then I've got this template that's like synthwave, and then what people end up doing is you end up making loads of templates for possible events, future events that may or may not happen. So this is something like I've been sucked into, and something I would definitely avoid doing. And this is the other thing with the world today, is like everybody, like there's like loads of videos, YouTube stuff, attacking YouTube, obsessed with workflow. You know, like, so you want to improve your workflow, so then what people do is they start making templates trying to accommodate for every possible eventuality that may or may not happen in a music production. So that doesn't mirror with creativity very well, does it? And it doesn't hold up with the mindset when you're discovering something, you know. And the reason that I have a discovery mindset is because I know it's the best way to find something unique. If I go into design, well, chances are it's going to cause loads of frustration, because whatever I'm thinking in my head I know won't come out into the computer exactly. So that's one thing, and the other thing is potentially I'm just copying somebody else's music but then making a worse version of it. So sorts of things to avoid there. Okay, so right, I've pulled out this high string. Yes, Richard, it gives you consistency. So it gives you consistency, which is great. that could be interesting. Oh, thanks, Scott. So the key is in B minor, and I've picked something that's D major, and the reason for that is because it will make a B minor 7 chord, I suppose. It'll give it a B minor 7 feel. So I just want to add a little bit more harmony in the background to the verses. Let's see if it works. Because sort of like extended chords are really nice to play over when you're on guitar. That one's better, isn't it? That sounds much better. So this would be one time where I would go grab an EQ. Now there's a couple of EQ choices here, because all I'm going to do is I'm just going to filter this off, but what I want to do is I want a nice sounding filter. So rather than going to Pro Q, I'm just going to hack into this with this, and what I like to do is use the earth EQ and use the air. So I need the because I do want to hear a bit of the resonant bump as well. And I'm just going to massage that into position with the track. That's working nice. So we've got the shape of a tune here, so this sounds just it's fairly promising, this. Now another thing I'd avoid doing is automation, so I could go in and I could start kind of putting automation on, but I really want to see how this track stands up without any excessive mixing and also automation. Because I know when I start adding automation to it, then it's really going to pop. Okay. So I was about to get sucked into detail there. Yeah, 80s drums, it's the synthwave thing, isn't it? Interesting enough, I'm going to probably change that snare. I'm just not going to do it now. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Harlan. Right, random vocal thing. Right, I'm just going to wave my mouse around here and then somebody type stop. Type stop. And then I'll pick one. Right, well, this one.
Oh, I need ya. Ooh,
oh my god. Very cheesy, this.
oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh.
Right, here we go. Yeah, okay, let's try a different one. Alright, I'm seeing it. Right. I think the thing is like some of them are like really high pitched. Yeah, they are. It's just like some of them are really. I could never use something like that.
Lose my ooh, oh, oh, oh. I wanna go no to my la la la.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, I want to avoid Smurf stuff.
Yeah.
Mighty, oh, 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 no. Oh, oh, hey, hey, tonight. Oh, you are higher, higher. Oh, hey, la la la. Hey, oh, 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 oh.
It's interesting. Right. so I can feel. So at this stage now, that's the idea. I'm probably going to bounce it down, but let's have a look at what's happening on the master here. Okay, and we're bouncing it. So actually, you probably can't bounce it because of the stream. So I'll not do that till after the stream, actually. Right, so that's the session. Naturally, sort of, I can feel it sort of naturally coming to an end where I'm focusing too much on detail now. So when you're splurging, if you start like moving, removing, and improving. These are the 3 signs to kind of end your session and start something else. Right, okay, so it'll be a minimum of 3 days. So I might get this out on Sunday and start shredding over it on guitar on a live. But at minimum's 3 days, preferably 7 days. But this will go into the automatic music making machine. But morning sessions are great, aren't they? Because when if I hadn't have done this, I wouldn't have had any music, would I, for today? But I've done something. I've got like a skeleton of a track there, which is brilliant. That's something to go back on, and I feel great because of it. So now I don't have to feel really frustrated doing everybody else's music sessions at work today, and then whatever energy left, struggle trying to get something going. Mornings are very magical when it comes down to, well, they are anyway, but when it comes to creativity, I really can't recommend it enough. Once you build a habit of kind of getting up. So there we have it. Right, does anybody, I've got a little bit of time if anybody wants to ask me some questions, feel free. Yeah. Doing something for yourself, yeah. I mean, inevitably this will end up a McLaughlin and Hutch track. But yes, it's great, it's doing something for yourself. Which is very important, because that's what our art's about. Now, music should be about ourselves, because that way it's going to be more unique, So I suppose if we remember, we're taking the kind of discovery mindset that this track started from. What did it start from? It was this sound, wasn't it? Cancel that. It started from. So those were the sounds. Alright, Commando, I wish I could get up at this time every day. Could get exercise done. You can get up. You can get up every day. What's stopping you? So this is something I coach on and teach pretty much every day to people at work. So creating positive habits. So what you need is you need your trigger, and you need a reward at the end. And for the plasticity in your brain to change so the habit gets really, really locked on, it's about 14 days. So for me, the trigger is waking up. And as soon as I wake up, I know I'll go straight to the studio and make music. And then at the end, well, get to have a coffee and a little bit of a relax before I start doing the rest of my day. But you know, if you want to, as soon as I started getting up and doing music in the morning, it's how I found my style. It's how I kind of did all my, you know, started releasing a lot of music. It was all from the morning. Well, it was a process because I was getting coached through it, and the guy who was coaching me was kind of developing a lot of this stuff. So it was a few years. I mean, I was in training for 4 years to do all of this, and I remember, well, something like 6 months. We had I was in a group that was all just about experimenting with flow in the music session. So what we were doing is we were looking at flow triggers. So effectively what you're doing is you're setting up the habit. Okay, so you're going to get up every day, but then it's like you've only got this set amount of time, what, like an hour and a half for your session. So what you want to do is you want to make that hour, you want to do as much work as you can in that hour, and make it as productive as like a day. You know, and literally, like I was doing, it would take me 2 days to do this. And it's all about like focus and flow, and getting into flow was a big part of that, because when you're in flow, time dilates, and that's when your best ideas come out. So you're working really, really quickly, you're getting everything down, and you know, you can make an hour session into 4 hours by doing that, but it takes a little bit of brain training and some exercises to do it, as well as a bit of meditation. So the first 5 minutes is the hardest. You could try meditating, Harlan. Do you try that? Just before you do your work. So all I do is 5 minutes of breathing. So I just concentrate on the rise and fall of my chest, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And that way you're just trying to get rid of distracting thoughts. And 5 minutes is enough. And you'll really feel the benefits of this if you do it just before you do any sort of creative or work sort of stuff. Your session will kind of flow a lot better. So yes, flow practice. So it took a bit of practice. And then on top of that, you've got the automatic music making machine. So you know what decisions you have to make at any point of the creative process. Because remember, we have divergent thinking, we have convergent thinking. We don't want to be doing convergent mixed tasks where it's a concrete yes or no objective. What we want to be doing is putting all of our energies. No, well, that's good. The first 5 minutes of meditating is hard for me. Well, brilliant, because it's meant to be hard. That means it's working. So give it a try. Yes, you'll be restless. There'll be distracting thoughts, Harlan. There'll be all of that stuff going on. That is part of it, because those are that self one of distraction. That's what we're trying to kind of calm down a bit. That editor, he's going mad. We need to get shot of him so we can just get on. Yep, so Commando, I hope you get up in the morning, because you'll really feel the benefits, whether it's just to do exercise, guitar practice, all that kind of stuff. Be brilliant. In fact, one thing I'm going to do at some point is getting back into guitar playing and stuff is I'm probably going to adapt an automatic music making machine for guitar licks as well. So just started kind of having to think about that yesterday. So yeah, the guy who coaches me, he's the guy, Mike Monday, who came up with it, and then I did some coaching for him on it. So there's two ways you can do. You can go do his Leap 9 course, or you can come to me to be coached on it. So I mean, if we really get our heads down, we can get it done in about 8 weeks. So yes, that's something that I train people on. It's now, the automatic music making machine is well, quite a large part of what I coach on, because it's just a brilliant way to see creativity. You can just feel, you can see where you are in the process, and you kind of instinctively know what you should be doing. And of course I have that model in my head, which is why this track's kind of coming together quite quickly. Because the music making machine, that whole idea, it's something that you have to practice. But what it'll allow you to do is, well, ideally you could be finishing multiple tracks every week. Imagine that. Imagine every month you had just like an EP to release. Especially if they put the money up for Spotify, that would be a good thing. And there's another, interesting thing about this, because, we're in the pandemic and it's a bit of a music industry leveler for a lot of people. So there'll be a lot of people falling out of the game, so there'll also be new opportunities. And the only way that you're going to get any opportunity is through your music, through writing music and shoving it out there in the public. I mean, the thing with recorded music, as we know, it's as a business, it's absolutely knackered. The business model's messed up. You don't make any money out of music anymore. We're back to Mozart's times, pre-recorded times now, where you can't. It's very difficult to monetize recorded music unless you're a massive artist. But what it does do is it creates all kinds of opportunities. And I think with the way things are going, there's going to be even more opportunities, especially for independent artists. And part of that is, there's a lot of music coming out all the time. It's just making your own voice heard, and the way to do that is through creating unique music that only you can make. Because if you do that, then you're the only provider, so therefore it has more value. Everybody has to come to you to hear it, don't they? Alright guys, so I'm going to have to head off now and have a coffee. It's been great. So I'll be doing this again tomorrow morning, and I'll be doing another idea. So I'll put it up in the Shred Club lobby. I'll announce it there later, and I'll mention it on Instagram as well. But it was great seeing you guys, Harlan, Richard, Commando. Who else we got? Super Blonde. So it was great seeing you guys on the stream. It's been a blast. Scott as well. Haven't missed anybody. Brilliant. Alright guys, well done for getting up, or if it was well done for coming to the stream. It was excellent having you on. Okay. Anytime. I'm just on your daily travels, if you can tell people about me and tell them, to come to my Instagram and YouTube channel, that'd be amazing as well. So I'll see you guys